So we have seen what are the different settings at the level of organization. I'll just quickly review like what is the name, what are the projects, how many users can be added, how do we manage the billing, and if there are any active directory, then how do we link different policies like who can access, who cannot, can we allow guest permissions, what are the security permissions, all these things we have. And we left the later part, which is process repo, because we going to start from it today. So, and the same thing we have checked on the level of project. So this is one of the project in my organization. We can create n number of projects in any of the organizations. So we have, I'll request both of you to log into your organization. We'll be doing some hands-on things today. So can you please log in? And once you are ready, let me know. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, Anurag, we are logged in.
Hmm.
Yes, logged in.
Okay, nice. So so today will be, so in project settings we have spoke about what are the overview, like what is the name, why this project was created, and what process template we have used. So I told depends on which software development process team is using. Based on that, we choose the template and create the new project. And how does it make sense or make difference with respect to Azure DevOps, that I'll be telling today when I will be discussing about Azure DevOps boards. Visibility also, like when it is public, this project can be accessed by anyone on the internet, but when it is private, it is for only the person who have the permissions. And these are the 5 different services which given by the Azure DevOps project, and we'll be discussing all these things today. Not today, I mean, this is the main topics which are given by Azure DevOps. So we'll be starting from boards, like what is that and how it is. So in overall conceptual, uh, what is that is there is like there is an organization, or we call it collection also. So in one organization, there will be one n number of projects can be created. If we see this example, let's say in our organization, if I take example of mine, I have this organization mass assessment, and inside that I have a project called Parts Unlimited. So that project is there, and whenever we create any project, there's one team by default will be created with the project name. What is this team and all, I'll be telling, but if you see this diagram, you will see this is the collection, and inside that I have a project one, and inside that we have one team. So whenever we create any project, we will get one team default created. So this is the team. And how does it look like? If I have this project, I go inside this, and then project settings, we'll see there is a team created this, and apart from this team, I created multiple teams for myself. So what happened basically, what is the difference between project and team, and when we need a project, when we need a team? So project is basically is a repository which provide you container or I don't know this project. So this is kind of a repository or container who provides you storage for your repositories, your source code, your project management, your pipelines, your test things. These all things will come when you create a project or when you start using a project. But team is basically if your team is small, like you have 5-6 members in a project, you don't need sub team or kind of concept. You just create a project, and inside that you get one team. That's enough. You can start working on that with the one team itself. But when your project is like quite bigger, where things are interrelated, like basically if you are developing a common software, there are 5 different project managers who are managing the 5 different teams, but all are interlinked. So what we basically do, we create a project for them. Let's say Parts Unlimited is my project name. We created this, and inside that we have teams of 10 developers, 15 developers who are working individually for them. So for all of them, we create different teams. So they will work their own. They will not interfere the other team who is working inside my project. They will work their own. And in the end, when they are checking into the code, when they're running their pipeline, when they're creating their builds, that will be common. So how does it different? So for the management perspective, it will be different. So let's say I'm the project manager for team A, and Dharani is manager for project B, and I'm managing Anirudh and Ajay, and Dharani is managing Preetham. So for them, like for managing Preetham and like how much work assigned to him, what are the tasks he's working on, Dharani will create a sub team and he will manage his members, and I will get team created for myself and I will work for myself for Ajay and Anirudh. So that way we can further segregate our project inside the team. So if you see my second diagram uh, here, so if you see this one, so this is my collection. Inside that I can have n number of projects. So let's say if we take example of project one, I have one team which is by default created when I'm creating project. And apart from this, I have created three different teams: team A, team B, team C. And if there's some second project also which is not at all linked to project one, this is a separate team is working or something like that. They will have their project two team and they have their sub teams. So team names they can use again same team A, team B, team C or whatever they want. So it's not they cannot use the same team name they want. They can use anything. And this is how it is. Like inside one project, inside one collection we can have multiple projects, and inside one projects we can have multiple teams. So now, how does it look like when in real Azure DevOps system? Before we start, you all have to create a project in your organization. You have one organization created for everyone already that I know, but now we will create a project, and there we will start working our things. So for creating a project, what we normally do, don't do this. I'll tell when it needs to be done. So. For creating a project, we just click on the new project, given the name, and choose private always because we are not developing any open source, so it should be private. In advance, we give like which template we want to use, and it will create a empty project like this, something like this it will create. But as we have to learn something. So what we will do, Microsoft is providing some template project created by themselves, which has some data already, so we can use that data for our learning. So how do we create that project? If you see, this is a new project which I created using Microsoft template. And so when we are working on real life projects, we always have to create a project like this only, new project, and given the detail and create an empty project. But for learning perspective, because Microsoft Labs are giving some features to us, so what you have to do, you all open this. This is a project creator uh, kind of tool, project creator tool it is, which will create a project with some data inside this. So I'm pinging a URL. You all click on that, and then I'll tell you what needs to be done. Open this URL, log in with your Microsoft ID. So because just follow me when I'm doing. So open the URL, click on sign in. This is not required in real projects, but for demo, we are just creating a project which has some data. So you can give some name. We'll all use the same name, which is parts unlimited. So you click on this choose template. So there are few templates are given based on different system. We'll use this parts unlimited, which is basically for some e-commerce website and all. So we select the template, give the project name also the same with the space. And in this organization, you select your organization. You will be seeing after you log in, your all the organization will be listed. So I'm using this one and just click on the create. So I already have it. Will give me an error, but for you, it will be fine. Are you following me? Hello?
Yeah, Anurag. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, there is a break in the middle. So how can we go to this page? We need to.
I pinged one
Uh,
URL. I pinged one URL in the chat. Click on that.
okay.
Hmm. Limited, which is basically some template project. So it's kind of template project which will be getting with some data and all. Select the template, give the project name, parts space unlimited, and click on create project. Let me know when you are done. Get this, or you join late? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Pritam? I think Pritam is not hearing. Okay, so are you done with this?
Anurag, it is showing Smart Hotel 360 in template when I click
No, no,
on
you,
choose
you
template.
click on this choose template, and
Okay.
here you will see a lot many.
Right. Yeah. Parts unlimited is there? Yes.
You select this,
Select. Okay. Yeah.
and in the project name you give your project name. Maybe you give
Yeah.
same, and in the organization you choose any of the organization, so whatever you see from that.
Yeah.
And click on create project. Will take couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Ajay, are you done with this?
Yes, Anurag, I'm doing.
Hmm. So if you don't do this, we cannot do anything further in this training. So this is the first step of starting. So let me know if you are stuck somewhere. Anirudh, Pritam.
Sorry, Anurag. Actually, I do not have laptop with me, so I'm still away. So I'll not be able to do this step.
Okay, so you just follow it, and once you have laptop, I'll help you again to create this.
Thanks.
So, Anurag, this organization will show our email ID or what is this? Select organization. It is showing my email ID. No, not my email ID. It is showing my organization only.
Project is successfully provisioned. Anurag, you there?
He is joining back in 2 minutes.
So navigate to finish.
Navigate to project is there.
Yeah, just click on that. So it will open your organization. And these came because we use a template which is like some data already created by Microsoft. So they have given these things already. Otherwise, you will see only maintain. So we'll start by creating a new team for us. So just click on the new team. Let me know if you are behind me. Otherwise, I'll be continuing it and give the name something like this. I'm just using some standard naming. Otherwise, you can give any name of your team. Full web, this is my team name. Now, let's say in your project, this team area means if your team is developing some particular application of your project, so you created a separate team for that, and only you want some 5 to 6 developers or tester out of those 100, you add those only to your teams, so you can manage them easily. Though all the project users, because they're part of this project, they will see all the data, whatever in the project. But for better management of users, like my developer is working on what, how many hours of work assigned to him, what area he's working on. That's why we create separate teams. Otherwise, because they're part of projects, so they have access to everything in my project. They can see. Now, members you can add, but I'm leaving it for now. I'll add members later. You can add your description also. Basically, you can give the first team for testing. And because you are creating the team, your ID will be added to administrator by default. And you will be team admin, and because we are creating this team, so we will be part of team member also. So along with the administrator, we will be part of the member. If you don't want administrator to be part of member, you can just skip this, but we'll be adding, and just click on create. And you will see one more team is created over there. Now, how do we see this? Just click on this. We can see Anurag Jain is there, and he is the admin of this team. What is this name and all? You can see all these things. Okay. Now things come in area and iteration. So this is the team we created. And now, if you have heard about the project management or Scrum way of working, Agile way of working, the things works, what is that? According to area and iteration. So area is like basically, okay, yeah. So area is basically some kind of a feature. So when we are creating a team, that means we are creating a separate area. What does it mean? Basically, if you are developing a car, your project name is car, and you are developing tire design. So that is one area. Same way, the one tire design we can call a team, and we can call it area as well. But here it has some linking between team and area. So how it is, if you see this team is created, and if we go to I'll again browse so you won't be confused. So when you are on your organization, you go inside your project, you click on project settings, you will see all the teams here. You will see all the teams, but we will be checking only because we created this team. We'll be working only on this team. Let's assume like we are part of this. We don't know what other teams are. So this is our team. Now we need to define some area for this team, like what particular things this team member will have access to. So how do we do that? Go to the team configuration, and in the areas. So if you see, there is only one area created, which is the project name. This is again by default created when we create a project. So this area is by default created, but now we have created a sub team. We need one area for that team also. So we need to select or create one area path. So what we'll do? So team configuration area, you click on select areas. We will see what all areas are available in this project. So we will select our pull web because this team is working on pull web area. So I have selected this, and if some sub area will be created inside pull web, those will be part of this team also. So I'm just selecting everything and removing this one because we don't want this. We want everything what under parts unlimited pull web. Okay. Same way, iteration is there. So there are two concepts, area and iteration. So area is basically what area or what features or what particular application the team is working, that defines under the area. Now comes to the iteration. So what happens when we are working on any of the project or application, the company or project manager or project master defines a sprint. Let's say your project is of 6 months. So it's not like they given you the 6 months in the starting and after 6 months they will ask you, okay, what you have done. It's not like that. They define some small chunks of work, or some they call it a sprint. It can be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. It depends on your project requirement. So that we call a sprint. So sprint. So for my let's say my team is full web. For this, I'm defining an area or sprint for 2 weeks. So what I'll do, I'll create some 6 or 7 different sprint sections. The sprint section basically iteration I will create. So first iteration will start on 20th June. Another one will start on 12th of July, and it will go for 2 weeks or 3 weeks it is going. So here they are keeping 3 weeks of a sprint. That means after every 3 weeks, they will ask the developer like what you have done, and they will review everything. So this way they can manage work. So our total work project was for 6 months. We defined into small chunks, and then based on that it will be continuing. So if you see right now with the date, if you're understanding me a little bit, you will come to know which sprint is going on for now. You see the sprint one is what started on 20th June. It ended on 11th July. And
Second
sprint
one.
2 will start. Second one, yeah. So the sprint 2 will start today. That means we are on sprint 2 and sprint 1 is done. So whatever the things were supposed to be done in sprint 1 has to be done by this, and the new task or new work assignment will be starting today. And now you will say, how do I know what are the work or tasks were assigned into particular sprint? That we will be doing in work item section. I'll tell you when we talk about boards. So this is the back end story before we move further to boards. So that means some tasks were assigned to this particular sprint, and that is done. And now we'll be checking for sprint 2. So I'll be setting up the sprint for a iteration for my full web. So I'm just going to team configuration, going for my particular team. If you see that, it will show you all 4 teams available, but we will be managing full web. And iteration, and you can select iteration for your team. So select iteration, we'll be selecting sprint 1, sprint 2, because all sprints are related to for our project. Sprint 4, sprint 5. Yeah. And from here, if you see like these are the dates are not working for you, you want to change some, like you want to keep it for 2 months or 2 weeks or 1 month, or your dates are not aligned with you, just double click and you can anytime edit this. So your start date will be some 20th June and it will be something like this, and save it so it will be reflected. So these are the 2 things basically which defined a team. Team means this one. So area, basically which feature or area the team is working. Sprint is basically the small chunks of time that we call the iteration. Okay, now you will understand area iteration. You will see what is that. So there are 5 different services. We will be starting with the boards. So board is basically which provide you UI based board for managing your project management, your task management, and also you can manage it through board. So how do we do this? So what you need to do, go to your project and navigate to the boards, these boards. Okay, and click on the boards. This. So we will create our first work item. What is this work item? Basically, it is where we will be defining the what we have to do and who will do. So if you click on this, there are few different type of work items provided by Microsoft, like whether it is a bug in the system, so you are creating a bug, or if it is a new feature you will be developing, or is it an impediment, which means it is like some blocker, you cannot proceed further, or it is a product backlog item, or it's a task or something. So we will create a product backlog item, which means if I'm the project manager, I will create a product backlog item and assign it to my team member, so he has to work on that. So how does it look like? You just click on product backlog item, and you will see some template coming up. So you can give a title, develop tire size, and assign to one of the team member, because in my project there's no other user, so I'm assigning it to myself, but you will see if someone else is there. State, so whenever we create a work item, it will be always in the new, and later on you can move it accordingly. I'll show you what are the next states, but for now it's okay, keep it new. Now it comes to area iteration. So because we are creating which team it belongs to, so how do we assign it to which team it belongs to? Basically by defining this area and iteration. So area is our team name, which is which iteration you want to work on this particular item. So let's say we want to work in current one, which is fine. Now this item has to be done inside the sprint 2, which will be request. So this thing has to be done by today. What things has to be done? So, for example, developer on designing the tire size and grip, blah blah, something like this. So now after reading this, developer will know like what he has to do, and we can manage our in between. If some discussions happening like during this 2 week sprint, something happening, he can update that this thing here, like I have worked on something like that. They can give an and save this. So you see this item has been created and it gets one unique ID, which is 159. So in your system, you will also get some ID when you create one work item, and it will be my system. And my system means it will be saved in my team. See, I saved it and I have done some work. Now I can move it to some. I'm creating it. Someone will review this. Okay, this is verified. Distract. Okay. So once can work on this with, and you can give his command approved or something. Will he will so in my item to I will pick up print he might have this one, you know, so the will begin the to the come is working. It's fine. In other and now move save it and once he my work and it's okay. You will say no like you are not able to proceed further. You can raise an impediment like these are the problems I'm facing and I'm stuck on this. So you can just give that, okay, I am blocked because I don't know coding. And then you can assign it to someone like who can help you. And once coding problem, save it. So this will be assigned to someone, and that guy, so whomsoever you assigned, he will work on that and he will give his solution here. So it will be different requirement, different work item templates are created in the project by Microsoft. Microsoft itself gives it so that we don't need to have tension like, okay, I want something for bug like this and all. Okay. Okay, now we will, these are the sample I've given like just for making you understand. Now we will do some real time of work, like how it works when we are in some project. So let's say, 1 second. We are creating a Epic. Epic is basically kind of new feature itself. Okay. and I'm giving it into my area, sprint 2, given some tasks like product training, and saving it. It is not assigned to anyone. Right. Now, how do you see in this your real project? So what you do, you go to boards, you will see what are the work items have been created. And now board of you will see board for each team. You go to your board. And whatever the work item has area path for our team, we will see all the items over here. So we can see this one. Yeah. Okay. Now we are on sprint 2. So if you go to the sprints and select your basically your team, okay, your team you select, and here in the sprint you can see all the sprints related to our project. You see sprint 2 is the current one because it understands the dates. Sprint 1 it is saying like this has gone already. Sprint 3, sprint 4, sprint 5s are there, and you can see which item is currently being on the sprint 1, sprint 2, current sprint, what items and who is working on this. So like this, if we create 5, 6, see everything. So I'll create few more. How to create? Can anyone guide me? How do we create a new work item?
Go to work items and new work item.
Work items, new work item, and I want to create a PBI which will be assigned to my pub. What is the name, that POL web area path. So how do I create a PBI and assign it to my team and sprint 2?
Click on product backlog item. Yeah, under area and item.
Okay. So title I have to give new PBI assigned to myself again. There's no one else. Save it. Okay. This will also go now. So now there's one more concept comes basically. So PBI is main requirement where like I'm doing something, but in PBI also if I want to segregate it further, like this in this PBI the requirement was basically create seat design and capacity and assign to Anurag. Anurag now will see because this is for 2 weeks or 3 weeks sprint. And you see there are multiple small requirements he has to done. So what he can do, he can create new work item which is a child of this. So how do we link a child to this? So if you click on this one, link option is there in work item template. Add a link. So whether are you creating a new item or if the child item is already created. So let's say we are creating a new item. It will ask us what item you want to create. So we are creating a child of this one. So you select the link child. You can create parent, duplicate, blah, blah, blah. But for now we are creating the child. So we will give the relationship to the child. What work item we want to create? We want to create a task inside this. My title you can give estimate the size. and click on this. So new task will be created and it will be open. So either we create it from there directly from work items, or we can create by going inside one project work item and link it to that. So if you see now, this one will be linked to our parent PBI, which is the new PBI, and that PBI is parent for this one because this task is child, and then he can give he can segregate his requirement here. So estimate the size of seat. This is the one task while he has to designing the seat. And this will again belong to the same area iteration and close. Now, if you go to boards again, you will see there are two PBIs have been created, and both belongs to my PUL bev. And if you go to sprints, you will see two items are created, and this item has one PBI. Now you will say what is difference between the board and what is the difference between sprint, because now our both the PBIs belongs to PUL web area as well as both belongs to sprint 2. That's why we are able to see this under sprint 2 because we are in sprint 2, and boards because it belongs to our area. So sprint things comes only with the area and iteration, while board will come only with the area. Whatever the iteration doesn't matter, but if area is PUL web, it will be displayed here. While sprint is basically, if you change this to some other sprint, you will not see these items because that doesn't belong to sprint 2. There's no item. Same way, if you change iteration of this, you will make it a sprint 1. Save it. It will be gone from this one. We will refresh it. It's coming because the child item still belongs to the sprint 2. I'll change here also. Sprint 1. Yeah, this is gone because that item belongs to sprint 1. If you click on sprint 1, you will see that item was there. So that way we can manage our, like in 6 months, what we have to do, we can create different work items, assign those to different sprints and work accordingly. So sprint 1 has some other item, sprint 2 has some other items. While if you want to see all the items for your PUL web team, you go to boards, you will see what are all the items. Doesn't matter what sprint it was. It is for your team. So you will see all the items. So you will see both the PBIs. This is in new, that is in done. If you want to move the status of this, like let's say I'm the developer, I'm working. After new, this is approved. Okay, fine. And if I click, so this item will be moved from new to approved automatically. That means now I'm picking up for working on it. So either I change the status manually opening and change it from here. Otherwise, there's a drag drop also. We can just put it here. So now other team members will open this and they will see, okay, oh, this requirement Anurag Jain is working, and he has already picked up. So that's why he moved it to committed. And now when I'm thinking, okay, I'm done. So because if you see 1 0, that means this has one child item which is not done. So if I open this, and what is the child there? This one was the child. So I have to done this first. Done, save. And then my main item, which is PBI, I can move it done from here, or else I can move it from here. So we'll see state will change to done automatically. So that way the teams manage their board and sprint. So board basically all the items, sprint basically for particular time period. That is how this works. So now I'll again repeat. So work item, to create work item, and it will display all the recent work items in your project created. it doesn't matter which team, which area, which blah blah. It is for project specific. When you go to boards, you can filter out based on your team. So you will see all the PUL web, parts unlimited, PUL DB, because we are filtering out for this. We'll see if you select any other team, PUL web, you will see some other items. DB. So in this, there is no item. I select parts unlimited. Also no item. So there are no item in any other team. If you want to create any item for this PUL, how do we do? So we have done for others. Now I want to set up this PUL team. So how do I do? Go to project setting, go to the team configuration. I'll change area and iteration for PUL. Iteration for which team? This is for PUL. We are in. So here we select the PUL team. PUL. So for PUL, I have these iterations selected. Fine. Area, I have this area. That's fine. So PUL team is set up. Now I'll create few work items and assign it to PUL team. So new work item, PBI. I'll change the PUL. The sprint is again same. I'll go to boards, go for PUL, you'll see this item. And if you go to sprint, you will see this test one, because sprint 2, if you change the sprint, it will not be there. Same way, this is for managing backlogs, means product backlog items will be displayed here. If it has a child, if like that we have for our PUL web, we have created one child. In sprint 1, we created this PBI and you will see the child. Otherwise, there's a board called task board, which will only showing the task, not the backlog item. So it will show only the task. So these are the sub items. So main PBI is here. I want to move my task inside here and there, so we can move it there. So if I have more tasks inside this is my PBI. And link, I create a new task, new child, our item type is task 2. It belongs to same area path sprint, assigned to me. And save and close it. Now refresh. Expand. You will see this PBI has 2 tasks here, and we can move the task here and there. So there are 3 things now. One is board, which shows all the backlog items, doesn't matter which sprint, but belongs to my team. Sprint has 2 things. One is the backlog, where it shows the backlog items belongs to the current sprint or past sprint, whatever we want to see. And task board is basically managing the task. So backlog shows my PBI. It still shows my sub items, but not in a like board kind of things. But if I go to the task board, I will see this PBI has 2 tasks, and I can move those here and there. So these things basically called boards. Boards means we are managing our work things and all based on work items and all. So we have seen this work items, we have seen this board, we have seen this sprint. Now in sprint, if you see, there are more things inside. So I'll tell you, task board basically shows all the tasks. Backlog shows all the backlogs belongs to that particular sprint. Now things comes as capacity. So as we already know, our sprint is of 3 weeks. Okay, and 3 weeks, it's like one day teams consider like 8 hours, like one guy is working for 8 hours. So if there are many guys in the team, the project manager, what he will do, he will create capacity, defined capacity for each person. So let's say I'm assigning capacity to myself, Anurag Jain, head user. So how many hours in a day I'll be working? So it's not like 8 hours one guy will work for these things and all. It may be because 1 hour is wasting in meeting, 1 hour is wasting in some review and all. So they assume like, okay, this guy will work 5 hours in a day and save it. So this way they will assign capacity for all the members in the team. So they know how much work this person, individual person is doing, and how much work is other guys are doing. So that's why we assign the capacity. Okay, so and how do we? So when you open any task, you will see one thing. This one. I'll create a new task so you will get it. So let's say I'm creating a new task. Child task 3. So what happened? Because now we have defined the sprint also, like, okay, fine, 3 weeks sprint, and this guy will work 5 hours in a day, but on what items he'll be working, what is this and all, how do we manage this? So Anurag Jain will work 5 hours in a day. When I'm creating a task for me, so I need to define what all things I'll be working. So I'm creating a new task and I'll tell, okay, this is task 3. I'll be working on, so this task I have 5 hours of work to do, like this. So when I'm creating, I'll give hours over here, like, okay, 5 hours of work I have to do, and save it. So in this task, I have 5 hours work to be done. And if I open again task 2, okay, in this task, I have 3 hours of work is to be done. And in this task, I have this one is done. And then this is, because this is moved to done, we cannot change it. So I'll move it back somewhere else. I have some 10 hours work is done. Okay. And save it. Now, if we go back again to the capacity, and here in work details, we'll see. So basically, because this PB sprint is for how many days? If you calculate correctly, 15 days. Okay, this is 15 days of work, considering holidays and all. So 15 days. How many hours I'll be working? 15 into 5, 75. And how much work is assigned to me is 18 hours. If you see, we have created 3 items where I have defined like how many hours of work is pending. So it is showing my 18 hours of work is pending for myself. And if I change anything over here, it will be displayed. If I reduce the remaining work to 1, so there it will be reflected. This guy has only 16 hours of work pending. So this is reduced to the 16 hours. So like this, we can manage the capacity and all, like which guy is working on what, how many teams work items, and all things is pending for him. Inside the board, we have comes like this dashboard that I'll be telling what is this dashboard. This is again linked to this boards only. And boards, we have queries and this delivery plans. This is okay, that's fine, but queries is like most important, and backlog. So we have learned boards, we have learned sprints, we have learned work items, but this queries, delivery plans, and dashboard is pending, that we will be taking tomorrow. I think it will be too much for you today. So if you can see this again, the video, or read online and have any questions regarding to the board, you can ask me tomorrow, else we'll be continuing it from here. Okay.
Yeah, sure, Anurag.
So did you understand, or like was it much confusing or something?
No,
Next time.
no. For me, it's clear. Yeah.
Good. That's good. Mhm. So you have to review it once again, because how to browse here and there. And if you try creating some work items, move it so you will get better understanding. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine then. So tomorrow we'll start with query session first, and then we'll be continuing further.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.